How do you get over someone that you were once in love with? I'm talking madly in love with. I think it's different if it was somebody that you just really liked a lot, and let's say you were on the rebound. That can hurt momentarily, but I think you can get over it really quickly. But then there are those people that you meet, that rare, special someone where you feel like your souls just connect and you can't even explain the chemistry that you have between the two of you. That's just magical, euphoric. You feel like you've known them your entire life, and you break up. I don't care what anybody tells you, that's difficult to get over, and it could take years. I don't know why in this society we try to pretend like we're okay when we're not, or there's a stigma attached to feeling brokenhearted over somebody. Like people think you're supposed to get over that in a day, when we know the truth is it could take months, it could take years. And I think it could also depend on your life experiences, but not even so, because I've seen people who are really up in age fall to pieces because a relationship didn't work, or they're just devastated, like really upset. I think we joke about the laying in bed and eating ice cream all day, but the truth is that it's painful and it's hard to get over, and you might still think about them every single day for years, especially if they were a twin flame or a soulmate. Like your mind and your body was connected to that person. So it wasn't just a chemical reaction, but there are a lot of deep biological factors that come into play that make you really bond with that person. And I think God made us so that we bond with people, so that we can have families and so that we can stay united. And kids need parents that are glued together. So to make that sort of connection and then be expected to just get over it is a ridiculous concept. But I think a lot of times people aren't very tolerant when you're falling apart over someone else. But biologically, that's how we're built. I remember feeling really afraid of love. And then one day in my early 20s, maybe I was like 23, I think was the first time that I actually felt madly crazy in love with somebody. And before that, I had boyfriends, but I didn't feel anything too strong. Like it was just fun, silly, playful. And I didn't even understand when I had friends that were falling apart over their boyfriends until it happened to me. And I think once it happens to you, it changes you forever. It changes how you think, it changes how you act. You're longing for something, you're craving something, you're looking for that person in everyone else. And a lot of times you don't find it because it's so rare. Maybe some lucky people have just a typical type of person that they fall in love with, and it happens really easily. But if they are truthful, I think it's extremely rare to find somebody that you feel so crazy in love with. And I think sometimes those connections can be the hardest to keep because you have to work through so many things. That's why the connection is so strong, is there are definitely gonna more than likely be some triggers and some things that you have to work through and get through because they're bringing up your junk. So you feel this, and that's the hardest part too, because people could tell you all day long, hey, what's your checklist? What are the stats that you want? But that person, you might not feel that deep, energetic love, but they sound good on paper. But you don't have that deep attraction. They could be very kind, very nice, very easy to get along with, but they're missing that sauce, that special something something. So if you're going through a breakup right now, just know that you're not alone. I'm sending you big hugs. It can be such a difficult and terrible process to go through. And like I said, it could take years. It kind of depends on like what is your attachment style that can have an impact on how you handle breakups. I think I have experienced 2 really difficult breakups. Actually, probably more than 2. But I think some of them I was over them in like a week. So, but there have been a couple that I wasn't over them in a week, and months would go by and I would still be thinking about the person every single day. There was one where I felt like I was just falling completely apart. Like, it's hard to get out of bed, it's hard to work. I just feel devastated and crying incessantly. But then I had another breakup where I felt like I fell in love with the guy for sure. And I would cry a little bit, but not a whole lot. I could work, I could get things done. I didn't feel miserable all day. I would feel frustrated sometimes and kind of achy about it. But I would sort of, what is the word, euphorize him, or like just put him on this pedestal and have this constant high about him, like thinking about him, dreaming about him, thinking about the fun we had, all the moments. But it was sort of like I don't want to say an obsessive type thought, more like ruminating about him all the time, missing him deeply, wishing I could be with him together, wondering why we couldn't be together. So it was heartbreak, but I could handle it better for some reason. Men can have a difficult time getting over a breakup as well, not being able to eat or sleep, crying just like we do. I think women cry 50% more than men do, but they still cry. Getting over someone isn't a clean break. It's more like peeling off a bandage that's been stuck on way too long. It stings, it pulls, and sometimes you swear it's taking a layer of your soul with it. But you do get through it slowly, stubbornly, and beautifully. So I just want to talk to you about the real process. You stop romanticizing them, not in a bitter way, just in a they're human, not a mythic creature forged in stardust way. You let the fantasy version go away so the real you can be available again. You let yourself feel the ugly stuff, cry, rage, clean your apartment, listen to songs that make you feel like a tragic main character. It's not weakness, it's emotional detox. You reclaim the pieces of yourself you gave away, the hobbies you dropped, the friends you drifted from, the parts of you that got quiet to make space for them. You call them back like lost pets. You build a life that doesn't orbit them anymore, not out of spite, out of self-respect. You deserve a universe that doesn't collapse when one person walks out. You forgive yourself for still caring. Love doesn't switch off like a lamp. It fades like a bruise. Slowly, then suddenly you realize it doesn't hurt to touch anymore. And eventually, without fanfare, you wake up one morning and they're not the first thought in your head. You don't feel the ache when their name pops up somewhere. You don't imagine alternate timelines when things worked out. One day you're going to look up and he's going to look up and he's going to say, you were the one that got away. So that just means that you were somebody really special that he regrets losing, but he couldn't get it together quick enough or well enough or figure things out enough for the two of you to be together. but he's going to miss you and wish that the two of you could still be together. So how long does it take to get over someone? There's no timeline, but here's the real unfiltered truth. If it was real love, it usually takes longer than you want and shorter than you fear. Most people feel the sharpest pain fade in a few weeks to a few months. The deeper layers, the memories, the what ifs, the emotional muscle memory can take several months to a year to fully settle. And sometimes a tiny part of them stays with you forever, not as a wound, but as a chapter that you don't regret. So healing isn't linear. Some days you feel invincible, other days, and sometimes a tiny part of them stays with you forever. Not as a pain, but as a chapter that shaped you, that made you the person that you are. Like, you wouldn't be the interesting person you are if you hadn't gone through a heartbreak. So healing isn't a countdown, it's more like waves. Some days you're fine, some days you just get upset out of nowhere. That doesn't mean you're failing, it means you cared. In the end, love didn't unfold the way you once pictured it, but I bet you're still grateful it ever touched your life at all, because for a moment, you got to feel something wild and electric, something that cracked you open and reminded you of what life is really all about. Not everyone gets that kind of fire, even if it didn't last. You're lucky you got to burn in it. I've got this strong hankering that for a couple of you listening out there, that new love is on the way. So use those experiences to create euphoria with your new love and think about what you want to be the same and what you want to be different and how you can be different and how you can be a better love interest for someone else. So do the hard work, think about the things that you could do better, and get excited, because even though you're feeling hurt right now, your next love is going to send you over the moon. So I can't wait to hear about your new love adventure. It's gonna be yummy. So hey, beautiful people, thanks for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments and what topics you want me to explore next. Your feedback means so much to me. Let's keep this adventure going. Don't break up with me. Be sure to subscribe and like the video. Check out my books on Amazon for insights on enhancing your love life, navigating narcissistic personalities, and exploring the 16 Myers-Briggs personality types. Links are in the description. You're amazing, and I can't wait to see you on the next video.